Reproduction 12, Sexual Reproduction, Flowering Plants. What are flower-producing plants called? Do you remember the term used for them? Angiosperms, that's right. And what is the reproductive organ of the plant? The flower is the reproductive organ of the plant, and in this lesson, we will study its parts in detail. What are the main parts of the flower according to you? The bright colorful parts of the flower called the petals, and the underside green-colored small petal-like structures called the sepals. Take a minute to think about the function of these parts. If you have done so, hold on to those thoughts. We will get back to them in some time. What are the other parts of the flower? The stamens and the carpels are these parts here in the center. You need not get intimidated by these fancy terms because they're pretty simple to understand. The petals and sepals are together called as the tepal when they haven't clearly been differentiated. This differentiation happens when the flower matures and blooms. What do you think is the function of the sepals? Well, they are the modified form of the leaves which enclose the bud and protect it from infection and damage. They are usually green in color but can also be colorful like the petals at times. They form the lower and outermost part of the flower after it has bloomed. What about the petals? What purpose do you think they will serve? Don't humans get attracted to a plant with beautiful flowers? This is the same effect the flowers have on insects as well. They attract insects towards themselves to help pollinate, or rather help transfer pollen grains. Pollen grains? The stamen is the male reproductive organ of the flower and it produces these pollen grains. They are nothing but the male gametes. They are usually yellowish in color and can be seen clearly on the outside as in the hibiscus flower. What about the carpel? What do you think the carpel is? The carpel is the female reproductive organ of the plant. It is usually in the center of the flower. It has 3 distinct parts and they're quite interesting to learn. The carpel has a swollen bottom, and can you guess what it is called? We call it the ovary. Coming out of the ovary and moving upwards is an elongated tube and it's called the style. Swollen bottom is the ovary and the elongated tube is called the style. What about the terminal part? The part which is exposed to the surroundings? If you touch this part, you will feel the presence of a sticky substance here at the tip. It is called the stigma and it is sticky to help the pollen grains stick to it. All this seems so organized and quite rightly they work in a fantastic way. And it proves just one thing. Nature is amazing. We will study this mechanism in our next lesson.